see a lot of play. Oh, okay. Priest. Oh, Priest. Oh, Priest. So, if you've been following any Hearthstone news online, you probably know that Priest got the worst cards in the set. You can see them here on the screen. Um, Priest is the worst class at the moment. Barely anyone plays it. People started playing it a bit more when there's all the media hype about how bad it is, and there's the challenge of finding the Priest deck that was actually competitive, and nobody could find it. So you got 3 cards here, right? Onyx Bishop, 5 mana, 3/4. Summon a friendly minion that died this game. So the immediate deck that comes to mind that this would be good in is a N'Zoth deck, right? Because if you're resummoning a minion, you want a powerful Death Rattle effect. So I think, powerful Death Rattle effect. So is it good in N'Zoth deck? Not really. So the reason why it's not good is because there just isn't good Death Rattles to play before this card. The best one is probably the shifting shade, I think it's called, the 4/3 half a burgle from your opponent, right? You steal a bit of a card from your opponent's deck, and is that really enough stats for you to justify playing this card? And especially since it's random, you can't choose which minion gets resummoned. So what if you resummon a 1-drop or a 2-drop or a 3-drop that died earlier? Then then you're getting even worse stats. So even in the best case scenario, where you're getting 7/7 for 5 mana, split across 2 bodies, the individual bodies by themselves are just so small and insignificant. I just don't think this card is very good. The stat distribution on itself is also very passive. It's not aggressively statted. If it was a 4/3, it would be better. If it was a 5/2, it would be better. At 3/4, the body is insignificant. The mana slot is like awkward because there's just no. If there was like a 7 mana card with higher stats and with the same effect, it'd be better because you can resurrect a Sylvanas or a Cairn. But with this card being at 5 mana, I think it's just absolute garbage. No one's going to play Priest. This is not going to change anything. It's like that's the best card out of the 3 here probably, and it's still terrible. Priest of the Feast, 4 mana, 3/6. So 4 mana, 3/6. You can think like Water Elemental, but Water Elemental is actually good because it freezes stuff when it hits it. This card does absolutely nothing when it hits it. And when you cast a spell, you restore 3 health to your hero. Who cares if you're restoring health to your hero? It doesn't really give you any tempo on the board. It doesn't help you win the game. What spells do you actually want to be casting that restore health to your hero? Like, you can't even choose what it restores health to. It doesn't give you any tempo. The 3/6 is very unaggressive. So the 3 attack trades very poorly with all other 4-drops. It doesn't even trade into all 3-drops like we talked about. We talked about the 3/4 minions. Like even like Totem Golem doesn't trade with. Like, imagine, picture this in your mind. You're playing Priest. Your opponent's playing a Shaman. They play a 4 mana 7/7. You play this, and then you just lose. You're playing against Druid, and they play I don't know. You know what I mean? This card just trades so poorly, and people are saying like, oh, maybe this will inspire a heal Priest, right? Oh, sorry. Heal Priest is just not good. Heal Priest just doesn't give you tempo. Healing is not enough. Priest needs to have cards that deliver on tempo, on board control, that are sticky. And even though this card is kind of statted well for the Priest hero power, Priest already has 4-drops. You got the Shifting Shade, which I mentioned earlier, and what Priest really needs is a solid 2-drop and a solid 3-drop. And the 4-drop slot is the best one in Priest, and it's rubbish. And I just don't know what they were thinking when they printed this card. It's just terrible. and then this is the icing on the cake for the Priest. Is Purify. So there's a lot of backlash when this card came out. Ben Brode, the lead designer at Hearthstone, he released a video. He was talking about it. He was like, we realized we made a mistake printing Purify at this time when Priest is so weak, and we didn't realize there'd be such a spotlight on the Priest cards. I don't know why they didn't realize. It's pretty obvious. Priest is terrible. And so, okay, so what does Purify do? It's 2 mana, silence a friendly minion, draw a card. Okay, so silencing a friendly minion is a negative effect, right? It's a negative effect because cards have abilities which are good, and if you silence them, they lose those abilities, so they become less good. So it's a negative effect. And so what's the positive effect to counterbalance that? Draw a card. Draw 1 card. So basically you play 2 mana, worsen a minion, and draw a card. Like, why? Like Novice Engineer is a 2 mana, you get a 1/1 body and you draw a card. So that's better already than Purify. So obviously, what are the synergies with this card? Are there any synergies? So the idea was probably that they wanted to make a kind of silence priest. So if you play Ancient Watcher, which is a say 4/5, right? Then you play Ancient Watcher on turn 2, and then you play Purify on turn 3. So you effectively play 3 mana because it's unlikely that you have a 1-drop that you want to be playing in priest. So you pay 3 mana to play Purify on your 2 mana 4/5 Ancient Watcher, and then you get a Chillwind Yeti 1 turn earlier. Is that worth it? For 2 cards and 4 mana, 5 mana effectively? No, absolutely not. Eerie Statue. So you play Eerie Statue on turn 4. It's a 7/7 minion that can't attack, and then you Purify it on turn 5, and you play a 3-drop. And so that's a 3-card combo, which is notoriously hard to pull off. And if you pull it off, you get a 7/7 on turn 5, and you know, do you see what I mean? Like it's just not competitive. Like an inconsistent combination of cards just to get a 7/7 on turn 5, when you got Shamans just playing 7/7s on turn 4 with 1 card. It's just, it doesn't stack up. It's a terrible card. I don't think you'll see any play. Silence Priest won't be a thing. Yeah, it's terrible. It's a terrible card. I don't need to say any more. There's been enough ranting about this card. It's bad. Never play Priest. Priest is dead. Priest is dead. Next up, we got